everyone. Today we're gonna flip through my 2019 bullet journal. I know usually people upload these around January or maybe even early February, but my channel didn't even exist back then, so it's gonna have to happen now. This is just a Leuchtturm 1917, and I believe the color is Azure. I just got it off Amazon, but I'll leave it linked in the description below for anyone who's interested. I got a Leafeon sticker on the front, as well as a sticker of Akamaru on the back, and these I believe I just got from Etsy. And if we open her up, this little paper where I wrote down my class schedule for my spring college semester. And then my little contact page with just my email and my name. And this is where I was keeping these little silver tabs that I used all along the edge. Then we open up and we have the key, as well as my index all filled in. And these little brown marks are just me marking different spreads that I found useful or themes that I really liked, and so on and so forth for future use. I did that at the end of the year. See, I got more here. Then we got my yearly calendar, as usual, or my yearly overview. And I just have month. I have this section based off of holidays, birthdays, and then things that added later in the year. My goals, and my memories. I'm not gonna dwell on those too much because they're personal. And then these are things that I wanted to check out, like TV shows, movies, anime, games, and books. I have a game section because I have Nintendo Switch as well as Xbox One, and I also play games on my laptop sometimes, as long as my laptop can handle it. And this is how I track my bills. I'm not going to get too detailed because, again, it's kind of personal. As well as my income and expenses. This month, then I have North Star, which is a place I used to work at. Chatty for my boyfriend, art because I used to do commissions, and other was like, well, my tax returns and whatnot. And this over here is where I tracked something a little more personal, so we'll leave it at that. And then we get into January, and here it's a pretty simple setup. I was not really in the most creative mood at this time, so yeah. And I had already been bullet journaling for a full year, so I don't really have an excuse for it to be so blah. Yeah, it's just a pretty simple setup. Work, college, home. I was trying to figure out, this is when I started my very first college semester, so I was still kind of trying to figure out how I wanted to track everything separately. Yep. So we'll just get through my weeklies. Here, these are grayed out because they're the next month. And this is the very first time I tried tracking my college homework. And I still use a similar tracker like this to this day. I've changed it a little bit since then, but it's the same general idea. And a somewhat failed attempt at a quote page. I think these numbers turned out okay. I just don't think my hand lettering was on par at that time. Then we go into February, which, again, very simple, not much for doodles, just these hearts. And yeah, this is how I used to track my months. It was in January too, but as you can see, I would have my monthly calendar here, and then I would just mark stuff. It's hard to see, but like this heart. Sorry, that's my cat. It's hard to see, but inside this heart there is a 1. And so you come over, heart 1, Metro close, that's related to work. As you can see, I have a key down here. Circles are events, triangles are deadlines. A line like this one are just extended events, such as a trip. Like this one said Lola. I believe I was just supposed to take care of my mom's cat that week. And yep. And then this little calendar here is what I used to keep track of my boyfriend and I's work schedule, because it's just, this was before, well, this is after we had moved in together, but I don't know, it's just something that helped me keep track of days that he worked and I worked, and that made it, if I could just visibly see who worked which days together, then that would make it easier to keep track of when I'm trying to make plans, if you know what I mean. And then I had our paydays marked, and we got paid alternate weeks, so that helped. And then my habits and mood tracker, I did them like this for such a long time vertically, and honestly I like how it is. I just like to change up the way they look every now and then, because there's no set way that I prefer them to be. And it's been a while since I've done it this way, so I might try going back to it once. And I do kind of like this sketchy way the title looks on this one. My credit card, my budget, my bills. I have never seen anybody else use a budget tracker, like expense tracker. Some people see it as an expense tracker. I've never seen anyone else track it like this, so if you want a video of me explaining what it is and how I do it, because it's actually very simple, so if you want a video on that, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to make one for you guys. Then we have another college deadline tracker. Over here is a commission tracker. I have the number of the commission. It starts over here because I was finishing stuff up that I had taken in January. And then I had the 2 of February. But basically, the number, their username, and the name of the character, because this was back when I did furry art for money. Whether it's digital or traditional. And then the type of commission, each of these letters means something to me as far as what type it is, like headshot, a chibi, whatever. Price, paid, sketched, line, colored, and rendered or shaded, finished up basically, and then whether or not it has been emailed to them. And then my earnings for the month, which there's a huge list, but only 2 of them were actually in February, so yeah. Then back to these weeklies. And here we have when I got my brand new laptop, the one that I use for games now, but it's meant for college, and that is the main thing that I use it for, is college and work, and now I use it to edit these videos and whatnot. But yeah, these are things I need to transfer from my old laptop, which is ancient, and some of the basic games I wanted, like League of Legends and RimWorld, because no matter how many times I play RimWorld, I always go back to it. And then other things to download, like Microsoft Office, Paint Tool SCI, Discord, whatnot. Just stuff I needed to get set up on my new laptop when it arrived. And then here we have March, and to this day, this is still one of my most favorite themes that I have ever done. I just love the way the little roses look. Like, they're so simple to doodle, but they looked so good. And I also like the pink with the minty color. I think they go together really well. Will say this page is pretty ugly, not gonna lie, but I just love the way the little roses are, and I did little roses to mark Sundays, I believe, are the days that I marked. And then here's my commission page, looking a lot more full this time around. I like the way I did the titles. I don't know if you can see it well on camera, but it's like the light normal mint color on top, like what you see here. And then I layered it as I went down to kind of make an ombre. Another tracker for my expenses. The college deadlines. It's pretty short. March has my winter break, as you can see, so a lot less homework. And I only had 3 classes to begin with at this time, so. And here you can see I finally started trying out something new for my weeklies. And I wasn't a huge fan of it, so I believe this is the only month that I did that. I wouldn't mind trying to redo this theme again sometime soon. And a meal log that I had to do because I was taking a lifetime wellness class, which is basically just a health class. So we're talking about exercise, diet, nutrition, all that stuff. So we had to write down our own meals for the month for a project. So there's that. And this is just a list of rough sheets and icons that I wanted to make for my own characters. And again, this is back when I was part of the furry community. So like these are all furry characters, I believe. Yeah, all of them except for this one. He's just a Nico boy, so like a human with cat ears and tails. And then Aaron and Elix, those two are protogens, which I think can technically be considered furries, but they're not in my eyes, honestly. Like, I would still draw them without considering myself a furry. And actually one of those characters is my boyfriend's. Like, we got protogen characters to be cute and stuff like that. And then April. I do like the idea that I had here, but I just think it's a little blah. Like, just bland. Like, the grayscale just makes it kind of boring to look at. And I feel like maybe if I had different sizes of fine liners for things, it might help clean it up a bit more, but what are you gonna do? You live and you learn. Another meal log. And I promise I didn't like fast for several days. I just sometimes forgot to fill it in and couldn't remember on a later day what I had eaten. And here I went back to one of my most favorite weekly spreads where it's just the boxes. I'm sure you've all seen this several times in other people's bullet journals as well. And I just left a little line here to separate, because then this is where I would put schedule type stuff such as 7:44 a.m. That just meant I had to work in the morning at a specific location and whatnot. And yeah, get through this. College deadlines, still pretty slow again. And I can't believe I used to not even use a full page for this, because nowadays I'll use 2 full pages for a month and sometimes still be like eking in just enough space for everything. So it's hard to believe I used to have so little to do. And then we get into May. And honestly, I think this particular theme, or this cover page at least, looks so much better when it was only the line work. But, you know, once you go in with color, you can't really undo that, and I didn't feel like redoing it. But I do really like it. I just think I went way overboard on it. You could tell I was really bored when I did this, because just look how crazy it all is. It's like almost hurts to look at, not gonna lie. I think this is the first month that I stopped trying to do my boyfriend and I's work schedule all together. Here's my expenses, a meal log, college deadlines, and back to weeklies. This I think isn't so bad because it's just in the corner, but like when it was all over between these in the past pages, that was just too much. And I pretty much just traced it through the paper on this side to make it the same. And then another one right here. And then June, Pride Month. This is just a list of, I made 3 different like your character here drawings for commissions. And so I actually had more than what's listed here, but I just didn't keep up with this spread. And June, such a simple concept, but I think it might be a little too much still. Ta-da! But yeah, it's a bit much there. I tried tracking my cleaning. I didn't keep up with it. And yeah. So I definitely did the litter box more than 4 times in an entire month. Trust me. I have 2 cats in a little apartment sharing 1 litter box. There's no way that would have worked. My expenses. And my rectangular weeklies, as usual. I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of like my go-to. Then we have July, and this is when I started experimenting with Tombow markers, the Tombow dual brush pens. And I started like making these seaweed designs. And I was doing this for all the clients that I worked with, because I worked with special needs individuals. And I had like little index cards, and I would write their name in hand lettering and then do a bunch of these on the sides around their names. And then we would stick little magnet things on the back of them and put them on their lockers for them. And it was just a cute little thing I was doing for them out of my boredom and just wanting to do something for them. And I just kind of carried it over into my bullet journal. And again, I have regrets. I love the idea of this, but I feel like I should have done it differently. Like not having these dark colors, or even these, honestly, going through the parts that I'm writing on, because it just makes it like confusing to look at, honestly. Like especially here, like it was so hard keeping track, like counting and whatnot with this, so you know. You make mistakes and you learn from them. Now I know not to do that. And expenses. And then me getting ready for my fall semester. You'll see this schedule like 3 more times through this bullet journal because I kept changing the classes I was going to take. But yes, this was my to-do list, materials I needed, because this is the first semester where I was actually gonna have to go to campus, because I live in a small town, so I have to drive 45 to 50 minutes to get to the actual college campus. But they have a mini campus in my small town, so I would just go there and it'd be like a video chat between the actual class and me and a few other students, if there were any others. But this was the first semester where I was going to actually have to go to classes 40 to 50 minutes away, so I wanted to be prepared for that because that was going to be a lot different. So yeah, this is me trying to figure out how my schedule was gonna work out. Like trying to figure out, because I had so many classes. I was signed up for 5 different classes, so that was 2 more classes on top of what I was taking, and I had even more hours at work than I was used to having. So all of that combined, I was just like trying to figure out what my schedule was gonna look like, and it was pretty crazy. I'm glad it didn't turn out being like that, thank God. Yep. And then we get into August, and you can tell how busy my schedule got because everything got really simple. It's really simple. I put my bill tracker on this page separately so that I could track my cash. It's just something I wanted to try. I don't do it anymore because I don't see the point. And yeah, really simple spread for August because my classes got started and I got pretty busy. And September. This was crunch month. It was so busy. Like, I don't even have hardly anything for doodles, just these little things. And just to show how busy I was, like, I don't have any weekly spreads at all. No weekly spreads. I have another class schedule for spring that I was working on again. But yeah, I didn't even do weekly spreads or daily spreads because I didn't have time for it. But yeah, and then you go into October, just cute little doodles. I'm not sure how I feel about the neon orange, but you know. Got a little more into doodling. And again, I think I went another month without any weekly spreads. I had my midterm reading because I was in a poetry class, so I had to read at the school's library, and it was open to the public, so people came in. And I had to read for 5 or 7 minutes. So, introduce myself, the list of poems I wanted to read, and then introduce the next person. And then this, also for my poetry class, we had the Nebraska State poet come, and we read one of his books. It was required for the class, so I took notes while reading it. And I also took notes because he came and he read for us, and he also did a book signing at the same time. And yeah, so I took notes. I had to ask a question to get my full, participation and whatnot. And this is the first time I took notes on this stuff, and I don't know if I have any more in this book, but in my bullet journal that I'm working in right now, I definitely continued to do this as I took another poetry class and a stories class. And I still have another one to take in the future. Yet another spring schedule. And this is still not even the schedule I ended up with. That's how much it has changed. Then we go on into November. Again, it was pretty simple. Nothing fancy, just an accent color to go with it. See what a lot more busy. There we go. Yeah, 2 more where I took notes on. This is the book that we had to read by Poe Valentine, and then this were my notes on his actual book reading and signing. And this is where I started, instead of having to set up those weeklies since I didn't have time for it, I decided, well, maybe I'll just start doing it this way, like what the original bullet journal design is, just bullets. Obviously I did it differently because I got these big ass circles, but And I also started getting a little more scrapbooky, I guess you could call it. I don't know. I started using my stamps. This is just a sticker. I don't even know where I got it from, and some washi tape. And lo and behold, yet another spring schedule. And this is actually the schedule I stuck with, except I got rid of this. I got rid of British literature so I wouldn't have to drive again just for one class on those days. I ended up settling with just these 5 classes. But yeah. I thought this was really cute, like a little sticky note taped in for a shopping list. I don't know why I like it so much, but I don't know. It's just one of those things, I guess. And then I would have like little notes like this. It's about time someone cleaned up this goddamn mess. Yeah. I had a huge pile of boxes just like stacked behind my couch because I'd received a bunch of Amazon orders, and I just had a whole bunch of boxes, and I finally broke them down and whatnot. And then another note page for a book, which I ended up not reading. I ended up not reading the book because it just seemed so interesting I couldn't bring myself to do it. And then my first anime tracker, and another stupid little note from myself. I've seen this 3 times now. I need to stop. It's getting sad. Very true, but it's such a good show. Yeah. And then me tracking books. You'll have to excuse the sticky note. I have a name of a client in here because I was originally reading this book to him, but then I ended up quitting my job because they weren't letting me have one Saturday night off to do homework when finals were coming up. So I had to quit my job because, you know, college is literally my entire future, and that job was just a temporary thing so that I had money while I was going to college. So I had to basically pick my school over my job. So I got to 82 when I was reading with him, and then I continued reading the entire series on my own after that. And yeah, it was just my first attempt at book trackers. I wrote my page number, and I would just write the next page that I finished on and the date and so on, and then a check mark when I finished the book. And I did finish this book, but I had already moved on into my 2020 journal by then. Just more dailies. This is when I got my Nintendo Switch. Another shopping list. Snow day because classes got canceled. Thanksgiving. Another anime tracker. And then December. I really like the theme that I came up for this one as well, like the torn brown paper and then the trees. Like, I just really like how it looks together. I think it turned out really well. And I like these tall skinny trees a lot better than I like these. So I definitely did a lot more of the tall and skinny ones just because I liked the way they looked better. But yeah, and I just continued doing the little list. See, I love the way this looks. And then my nice little shopping list. Just more dailies. My Christmas shopping. Yep, that's the end of the month. And then we got my Christmas shopping. I have washi tape covering this up. Yeah, I have washi tape covering up what I got for Jordan because I posted this on Instagram and I didn't want him to see it, so because it's a secret. And then I have a list of everything I needed to get done before 2020. And I basically got all of it done except we had ferrets and I didn't get them rehomed before the new year started. And I had no intentions of getting rid of them. I actually wanted to keep them until we moved into a bigger place. But the apartment building that we live in got new management, and they were going to start doing surprise inspections, basically. And the ferrets were technically not allowed. The only reason I was able to have them is because the previous landlord was actually a family friend. So that was the only reason I was able to have them before, and with the new management, yeah. So we had to get rid of them, but I didn't get rid of them until February, maybe? I don't know. Sometime towards the beginning of 2020. I don't know why I said that was the end of the month. It's only the 14th. But yeah. Just the rest of the year. And this is where we got to spend Christmas with my boyfriend's family at the family winery, which had just opened up that in 2019. They finally got it up open. We had spent the previous Christmases taste testing different wine flavors and whatnot. They finally got the winery open, and we got to see it because that's where we held the family Christmas that year. That was really nice. Yep, and then we have the end of December for real this time. And then to fill the rest of the book, I kind of just made some random collections. So here we have my anime master list. This is just a list of animes that I needed to watch. And the dark pink are high priority, light pink are medium priority, like I want to watch them more than the rest, but they're not top priority. And if they're crossed out, that means I completed them. I marked them 18 plus, whether that's language or gore, that kind of stuff, then hentai, and then whether it's yaoi or yuri. So, see, like, here's an X because I've heard that Berserk is very graphic, so I just put an X on it. Corpse Party is literally a horror, and it's pretty gory from the little bits that I have seen, so it has an X. But yeah, that's basically what this is. There's quite a bit here. I can probably cross more of them off, but I don't see the point in coming back to my old journal, honestly. But yeah. And then we have a list of quotes. And I was kind of doing this more just to practice handwriting. But yeah, these are quotes from songs, books, poems, whatever. Random ones that I found online. And I did different fonts with my handwriting. I kind of alternated between 3 or 4 different ones. Like my normal messy script, a bigger, like, loopier one, in all caps, my regular handwriting, my messy handwriting, so on and so forth. And I highlighted, like, my favorite parts. Like this one, don't say I'm better off dead, 'cause heaven's full and hell won't have me. Yep. And that's the end of that. And then planning for my 2020 Bujo. List of stuff to include. The key that I wanted to use. Planning my grid cheat sheet, because I'd never made one before. And so I was just trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. Whether I wanted to have, like, different types of dotted lines, or if I wanted to use color to separate, like, the page into halves, quarters, thirds, whatnot. And then this was me actually planning the pages, like key 2020, index, my monthly overview, so on and so forth. And yeah. And there's a list of different spreads I wanted to test out in here before I put them into the new journal. And so I tested out a new way to do bills, because before my bills was just 2 pages full of these. But then I decided I wanted to just put all my monthly ones that are the same exact price here, and then do my monthly ones that have different prices each month here, so that I could list the month, the amount, and then the date that it was paid. And then my yearly ones, because now that I am actually an adult living on my own, I have yearly expenses. Like my DeviantArt Core membership that I no longer have. But when I was doing art as a side gig, I had one, so I had to pay for that yearly. My Adobe subscription, which is what I use to edit videos and whatnot, and Prime for Amazon, because I wanted to get off of my mom's Amazon account so she couldn't see everything I was ordering. Practicing a grid cheat sheet, which was a fail, because quite frankly, like, it looks fine, but it's not actually useful to me, so I tried it a different way in my actual journal. Important dates, I don't know why I had them spread out so much. It's like, I did this, I skipped a line, and then I went over here, down, skip, over. Like, I don't know why I did it that way, because then I was able to fit them all on this one page, so I don't know why I wasted a page doing that. And then trying out different book trackers, because I really wanted to start reading more and tracking them, but I wasn't sure how to do it. And then testing anime trackers, because I was going to start doing them horizontally. And yeah. And then a planning page for January 2020. And I actually ended up using this theme. If you've seen my other journal, you see a very big cherry blossom tree, and I used this doodle a little bit as well. But yeah. And then we have my swatch page. You can see I was testing out things before I got into December. And then inside my pocket here, if I can get it, there we go. We have these little stickers here. Then we have these random drawings that I had found. And it's of a original species that I created. And it was basically like a wolf and a whale combined, kind of. That's why it's got the big old fluke, but it kind of has like a wolf-like upper body. But yeah. That was me trying to map out that species better. And then I've got a baby shower invitation. And if I can get this. There we go. And as you can see, it's really cute. It's got Tigger. And this is actually for one of the clients that I used to work with. She actually had a baby. We all got to meet him and whatnot, help her learn how to take care of him. So, yep. And stick those back in here. If I can get it to cooperate. There we go. Alright. And I also used to keep some of these tabs in here as well. Alright, everybody. That was a flip through of my 2019 bullet journal. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!